The views on That's My Word podcast is expressed strictly for entertainment purposes only. Word. That's My Word, the hottest podcast in the Metro Detroit area. How you guys doing? This is Uncle Will of That's My Word podcast. We are joined today. We have a great guest by the name of Nathaniel Cann. He is out of Dearborn Heights School District. But before we get to him, let's go around to the team. Again, you already know me. I'm Uncle Will. That's My Word podcast. Let everybody else chime in and go ahead, everyone else chime in.
TK, please.
I guess I'll start. Hello, everybody. I'm TK. Wasn't here last episode, but had some issues going on. But I am here and I'm ready.
Okay. Who else we have on here?
We have C the Right, as you referred to me, also known as C Right. Glad to be here, and this should be a very interesting interview.
Yes, I agree it should. So with that being the case, now that we have everybody introduce themselves, and it's good to have you back, TK. Good to have you back. Let our guest introduce himself.
Oh, I'm Nate Cann. I am the treasurer of D7, that's District 7, Dearborn Heights School Board in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. We have 5 schools in our district and 2,700 students. Nate Cann, I'm an entrepreneur. I just won the election November 3rd, 2020, on the board, first year on the board. I am the first male African-American elected in Dearborn Heights to a professional public official situation. So, it's been a rough year, but you know what? We're excited. We're moving on. We're on the board. We're making some differences. And what else can you say?
Well, I'll tell you what. It is great to have you here. As you know, a couple of weeks ago, we had one of your your co-board members, Miss LaTanya Gator.
Yes.
She graced us with her presence, and I'm glad that you're here to grace us with your presence as well. So,
my pleasure, honestly.
No, it is a pleasure to have you. So, you are, like you said, the first African American male elected to your position, correct?
Not only my position, I'm the first African American male politician in Dearborn Heights.
Hold up. So you're the first period up in the Dearborn Heights school.
City of Dearborn Heights.
Wow.
Yep.
Is that school district and any public?
Any public capacity, yes. School district and any other public capacity, yes.
Wow.
Now,
yep. And LaTanya was the first African American woman.
That is something else. I mean, 2021, Dearborn Heights established back in 1960.
Yeah.
For you two to be the very first ever, how does that make you feel?
It's scary. Whenever you put yourself out there as a politician, it's going to be scary. But I have to be honest with you. I have a 23-year-old daughter, 20-year-old daughter, and an 11-year-old boy. They went to D7 school district, all their lives. And I have to be honest with you, my 20-year-old daughter, when I sat down and thought about what I wanted to do and if I wanted to do it, she came to me and said, what other African-American male will win? I thought about it. That made me push on. She says, no one can do it, but you did. From the different relationships I have with folks in the district, I was really close to the late mayor, very close to the new appointed mayor of our district, of our whole city, I'm sorry. And the relationship I have with the council members and also the school district. My kids were not the first Blacks to go to D7 schools, but, there weren't many 16 years ago when they started at that school district. I tell a story, I'm going to tell it really quick. When my wife would take the kids to school and pick them up, things like that. And one day she called me and said, hey, I need you to go pick up the kids. So I went to the school and I had to walk through the school and the teachers were speaking. Hey, hi, Mr. Cann, how you doing? And I called my wife, did you give him a picture of me? She said, Nate, you're the only Black dad up there. What do you think? No. So, that was that basically let me know. And my children, I have the 23-year-old daughter, Natalie. She's finishing up her master's degree at UD Mercy in architecture. My 20-year-old daughter, Nicole, is at Wayne State, her third year as physician assistant. And then I have the 11-year-old boy. So, education is a big thing in our family. And we push it, so we got some great children, and they got some great parents. They don't always agree, but
Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. If someone's come up to you today, tomorrow, whenever, and they say, "Who is Nathaniel Cann?" What would your response be?
It's been a rough couple of years. We all know this. My response would be a dad, a family man. What would that's a good question. It's soon to be politician, entrepreneur. We own many businesses, me and my wife. In our family, we have many businesses, and we do, different things. But, I say a dad first. My kids are everything. I'm a family man, and that's what motivates us and pushes us as a family, as a couple, me and my wife. We've been together for 25 years. And
Nice.
we have the same goals in life, and that's what keeps that marriage. I get a lot of folks that say, "Man, you guys been together for a long time." I tell them, we have a lot of the same goals.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I was going to say something.
Get him, DK. Get him.
Now I'm here.
And it totally slipped my mind.
Well,
Oh, I got it. I'm sorry. You said that you and your wife own many businesses. Can you touch upon some of the businesses that you own?
Yeah. Well, we're entrepreneurs at heart. We own a tax office here in Southfield, Michigan. We opened up our first tax office in Dearborn Heights, and I opened up a computer repair shop. So I'm a network supervisor. So we've had a couple computer repair shops, one in Livonia, one in Dearborn Heights. We have a transportation company. We do own a few homes in the city that we rent out, a couple of Airbnbs that we do. We do a lot. I can keep going.
I see a man of many different things. That's
for real.
great.
I mean, Jesus.
If the money's out there, we got to get it. That's the way we look at it.
I know,
Yes.
right? I mean, shoot, I'll ask a question: how you had time to do all this stuff? I mean,
Right.
tell me, do you consider yourself as a trailblazer with you being elected?
Let me tell you, I celebrate, in my own way. Don't get me wrong. Let me tell you. I want to say a couple things before I even toot my own horn. I have some great support. I have a great support in my family and my friends, and your guest you had a couple weeks ago, Latanya Gator. Let me tell you, ultimate woman.
Mm-hmm.
She kept me where I needed to be, and still today, as we, deal with issues on our school board right now. We keep each other, I think, in line. It was awesome running the slate with Tanya. We face some adversity, but guess what? That's sometimes what happens, and things go on. I work a lot. It's a normal thing. Anyone that knows me will tell you that's just what we do. I find myself not having enough time in the day, not having enough time in the evening,
Right.
But I'm used to it. But I got to kind of touch on something with what's going on in my life. We spoke a little bit earlier this week about, me dealing with, the COVID virus.
Yes, please touch upon it.
So right around March 10th, I just wasn't feeling well. My wife said, "You need to go to the hospital." If you remember, this is when the virus first came around.
Yeah.
I visited the hospital, Beaumont, Dearborn, and they sent me home. They said, "Hey, you got pneumonia. Here's your prescription. Go home." So my sister was in and out of town, so I went to one of her homes. And, to be honest with you, for 4 days, my wife would come over and get me soup and tea, and I would feel a little better, but just wasn't getting better. After about 4 days, drove myself to the hospital and practically made them take me in. And they did take me in. Within 2 nights, they had to induce me into a coma. I was in a coma for 3 weeks. I was on a ventilator for 18 days. I was on dialysis. My organs started failing. When I awake 23 days later, I had memory loss, didn't know who my wife was, didn't know I had children. The only way I knew my name was it was on the board and they were calling my name. I remember I went to the hospital early before it became what it became. So when I awake, it was as if I was on a different planet. There were the nurses and the doctors walking around with different, I don't know, costumes on, you could call it. And it was totally different. And all they could say was, "You got COVID. We're on lockdown." And I'm thinking, what is a lockdown? You know, I knew nothing about it. Once I did awake and start getting my memory back, I'm on dialysis all of a sudden. I'm getting 4 to 6 shots a day. I can't walk. I can't scoot over. I can't maneuver. They're feeding me, bringing water to me, and putting a straw in my mouth. And I've never been in the hospital before. So my testimony to this virus is it's very serious. You know, I didn't know to take it as serious then. Of course, we know to take it serious now. But, you know, I'm about 70% of my strength now. I am off dialysis.
Oh, great.
Kidneys kicked back in not long after. But, you know, you find a new understanding of folks that get sick and are in the hospital.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you something then. With this, what is your take, especially being an African American Black male, on the shot? I mean, with all that you've been through, taking the shot, and would you recommend it to your?
Well, you know, of course, being African American, we're, you know, especially males, you know, we don't like to go to the doctor, as said, right? How I take on it. You know, I've seen some of the most notarized or professional doctors and nurses take this shot. And if they're going to give the shot to themselves, guess what? I would take the shot also. You know, the worst thing for me coming out of that whole situation is to see someone that I'm close to go through the same thing. I would never want it. I would take it again. You know, the nightmares, the everything was just absolutely not worth it. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Of course, you know, you got folks that they deserve it. No, what I went through was difficult. The rehab, the learning how to walk again, that was tough. You know, for a person like me who always worked 2-3 jobs, had 2-3 businesses, 3 different businesses. To be honest with you, excuse me, 2 or 3 different businesses. You know, it's difficult, you know, to be 70% and not be yourself, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it can, guess what? I say take the shot, you know, like I said, if the best people are taking, I'll take it also.
There you go. Charles, what about you? You gonna take the shot too?
First of all, I can take severe pain. I can't take little pain. So that's still up for debate with me mentally dealing with as far as taking any type of shot. Okay. When I was a kid, they literally had to hold me down to give me shots. Okay. Going back to the person at hand who we hear for the interview, not about me.
Not about you, right?
Let me ask this, because I remember speaking to you on election night. And
yeah.
In front of the school.
Yeah, I remember.
There was something particular that I gravitated to that you had stated. Since you were a survivor of this, what agreement did you and your wife work out? Since you're a survivor.
That's a good question.
There's quite a few agreements, I can tell you that.
Well, let's talk about purchasing.
Oh man. You're not gonna put me out like that, are you? Right.
He really is, isn't he?
Go ahead, brother.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. She's gonna kill me on this one. Yeah, I've made quite a few purchases. She can't tell me no. She can't tell me no. I can buy whatever I want now, honestly, guys. When I get my dad said, "You done bought another COVID card?" I'm like, "What the heck?" You know, yeah. She still can't tell me no. You know, we work hard. We try and save, But man, let me tell you, she allows me to buy whatever I want. She can't tell me no. You know, her attitude is, you know what, just whatever. You know, we yeah, I have an 11-year-old boy. Okay, let's just break it down. And he doesn't think Daddy's cool. All right, he doesn't think Daddy's cool. All right, but when Daddy went and bought that orange Challenger, okay, he said, "Daddy, you're cool now."
Right.
And so she says that wasn't in the budget. I said, well, it's a family car, you know.
You're gonna throw the family in there like that.
I think she's rolling it once or twice. But hey, once she rolled it, it's a family car. Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
But, yeah, that's great. It's really bad you remember that, all right? You know, look, I get to buy all the jewelry I want. I got so much cologne now. I got cologne for the rest of my life, all right?
It must be nice.
I learned from other individuals, if I ever settle down someday, I'm going to use that one.
Right.
Or to use that one.
I use it all the time. I mean,
I know that's right.
I was in the hospital before,
right.
and I was real sick, almost passed away and stuff too. And it's like when I came home, the wife let me have whatever.
That whatever.
You know, the ice cream I wanted at this point, right? So
right. You know, let me tell you, but it puts things in perspective. Let me tell you something. You know, being with my wife for 25 years, that's a long time.
Yes.
And you go through your ups and downs. You know, you change sometimes, and sometimes you don't change together. But I can tell you this, going through the experience I went through, I kind of upset my wife. When I first got my memory back and I was able to use the phone, heck, I was so weak I couldn't hold a cell phone. That's how weak I was. But when I was able to use the phone, I called my dad, and I called my mom, and I called my sister. So they're very close to me. I wouldn't call my wife. And my sister called, and, you know, actually my cousin called. And she said, you know, my wife's Latima, she said, she's crying, you know, you don't want to talk to her. So that chick put me here. Hold on, what you talking about? You know, I seriously thought that she somehow maneuvered me to be locked up in the hospital, you know. And to be honest with you, we were going through some differences, you know, in our lives. But when I got home, that lady took care of me. Let me tell you something. She took care of me more than she ever took care of me, you know. And so it put things in perspective. You know, I look at the relationships of the people that I have. You know, she didn't come out of the house during the pandemic while I was in the hospital, but I had family and friends leaving food at the house. Wasn't even knocking on the door, just leave home. She said she would wake up and there'd be food on the porch. She's like, the eggs are gonna go bad. The refrigerator was so full, she had to put food just in the garage.
Wow.
Excellent. So you didn't play that role. Are we really married? Are we?
I could have walked all by.
Until she held that frying pan up, your memory came back up.
Exactly. Right. Oh man. It was a
Don't let y'all get you in trouble now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know, I'm always in trouble. But there were some other agreements that we had to make. And, you know, I had to really push her. Let me tell you something, guys. To run for a political position is a tough thing. You're putting yourself out there.
Right.
You're really putting yourself out there. And her thing was, first of all, do you have enough strength for this? And second of all, do you really want this? You know, you take a lot of hits. You know, you have to answer a lot of questions. You know, a lot of personal questions that, you know, I just wasn't open to answering. So going through this whole situation was a blessing, but I had the backing of my family and, you know, also a lot of friends. But, you know, going through a political election, especially 2020, you know, we had a lot. I like to really celebrate the city of Dearborn Heights. I'm going to tell you why. Our area, our district is 90% white. Okay. To elect 2 Black board members, I mean, by a landslide, because there were 2 white men that came behind us. Okay. I celebrate our city. I celebrate our community. They wanted something different and they wanted change. And through this whole process of the 2020 election year, we saw a lot of bad stuff.
Yes.
You know, And I've really never mentioned to a lot of folks that election night, while I'm looking and waiting on the results, I was scared. Okay. I was afraid because what if I lost? We all have to face it, right?
Yeah.
We all have to face it, but what if I lost? And so, to be honest with you, I didn't want to see the results. I felt so bad because my family, when they were done at the polls, they wanted to, celebrate. They say, "Hey, what are we doing? We're going to celebrate tonight." You guys go home, okay? Because if I lose, I don't want to talk to nobody.
Say talk to
Right.
nobody.
That's being brutally honest. That's being brutally
Yeah,
honest.
it
Honestly.
really is.
And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't handle. I couldn't handle losing. And unfortunately, someone did lose. We ran on the slate with Latanya and also Bill Dishram. Listen, this gentleman took it a lot better than I did. This was his second time losing. This race, same race, same position. He lost, and let me tell you, he took it better than I could. He took it so gracefully. He congratulated us, and he told us, "You guys deserve this." We work with him closely, and he said, "If I worked as hard as you guys would have worked, maybe I would have won."
Could you say his name again?
Bill Dishram, very
My hat
nice
off.
gentleman. You did meet him?
Yes, my hat off to him for doing this.
Yes, honestly, listen. I was so. How you celebrate? I didn't want to celebrate because I felt so bad for the guy. Honestly, I felt so bad. I didn't want to celebrate, but I can tell you, he took it better than I could have. I can't. I'm so sorry. Hello, you want to give me a hug? I'm sorry, guys. We're at the office here in Southfield, and
I knew she was going to do a cameo. I knew it.
It's one of my cousins, my lovely cousins. Her children were out at the polls with us.
Okay.
Like I said, now it's so funny. Things about the polls. I got to talk about this election, guys. This is my chance to really celebrate this. I had a little cousin there. She's 28. Her daughter's about 5 years old. It's about 7 o'clock, guys. It got cold. And you were at Annapolis when it was dark. It was really cold. And I said, "Hey, you guys can go ahead and go home. You guys live in Clinton Township." She lives like an hour away. I'm like, "You go ahead and go home." This 5-year-old said, "No, we ain't leaving till it's over. 8 o'clock, you're gonna win." And let me tell you something. That was a blessing, and it just shows you the spirit, and my heart goes out to everyone that came out, even you, Mr. Charles. It was a pleasure meeting you. These folks came out for a goal. An ultimate goal was to push folks on that election and to get us in those seats. And I'm blessed, to have someone out there.
I thank you. No, I thank you.
Well, I tell you what. I'm gonna ask you some of the same questions I asked Latanya a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
So, first question is, which I think I got a sense of how the response was, but how was the initial response once you won the election in the Heights community?
It's let me tell you, I really got to be honest with you guys. That girl Latanya she ran a race, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This lady ran a race. Some of that stuff she was doing, I wasn't doing. All right. But what I mean by that is, I was really surprised. We had one incumbent, Mandy Dyroff, very, very smart woman. She led the votes. Okay. I came in second. Didn't think I would come in second. I thought I would come in third or fourth. I came in second. And, it just tells you, I guess I said what people wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked the question, what was my reaction? Like, wow, did I really do that? I really expected to come in third or fourth. I expected to come behind Latanya. And I called Latanya and I said, "Latanya," she sent me the results and said, "Look at this, Nate." And I said, "Well, that can't be right. They still counting, aren't they?" I knew Latanya would beat me by a landslide. And my reaction was, wow. She says, "Nate, you didn't beat me by much, so shut up." No. I said, "Yeah, that's true. I didn't beat her by much." But I got a couple more votes than she got. So the initial reaction from me was wow.
Mm-hmm.
But the reaction from the community was, we need change, honestly. Those folks that we need to right there on that board. We were out there on election day, and our opponents were not. They were not.
Wow.
We had folks like Charles out there. I'm talking about it got cold that evening.
Real cold.
Exactly. And we were out there. We were not taking no for an answer. We went out and got that race. And unfortunately, I hate to bring up the drama part of it, but you got to. We had the compliance officer called 7 times on us.
Yes.
7 times.
I remember.
We had the cops called on us.
Yes.
Oh, they're not standing in the right spots.
That's
they're
right.
walking up to people, this and that.
Wow.
Yeah. And I gotta be honest with you, the compliance officer, by the 7th time, I said, look, man, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And he said, you said you're supposed to be standing behind the red line. I said, well, where's the red line? He said, well, it looks like it faded away. I said, yeah, you don't know why it faded away? Because you've never enforced this before. And you ain't gonna enforce it no more. Leave my people alone.
There you
go. That man looked at me and he said, you're 100% right. I ain't bothering you no more. He said, guess what? You guys are out here. You ain't doing nothing wrong. Run your race. And I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I appreciate that, you know. But so okay. Now, wait a minute. I know the next question is, all right. I'm gonna give you this. How's my stock been? Because you asked Latanya, how's her stock been? All right.
Your stock done risen. Okay, so I know your wife will continue to give you.
Yeah, I got good stock. I got good stock. Okay, next question. I'm ready.
Politics. Do you see yourself running for something else in the future? Mayor, perhaps?
To be honest with you, you know, I've never been a big politics guy, you know, but to be honest with you, we've rubbed a lot of elbows with a lot of folks. You know, I do see it in the near future. I got a couple things I'm looking at. You know, I didn't get on the board for that. I'm going to tell you why I ran for school board. I ran for school board for a couple of reasons. I want to make a difference. I wanted to provide some community service to my community. Like I said, my girls were these 7 girls. I mean, they did absolutely fabulous in that school district. And I congratulate the school district. But guess what? They never saw people like them making decisions for them. And that was one of the main reasons why I ran for school.
That is great. I mean, I can't help but applaud you on this, man, for real. And so before we let you go, I have to ask you this other question too. I mean, I'm pretty sure they probably have another question, but I definitely got to ask you this one. Again, I asked Latanya this as well. In light of what we have went through in these past 4 years with the last administration or whatever, do you feel like Black History Month is still a relevant month, holiday month or whatever? Do you still feel like it's relevant?
It's very relevant. I just actually, at one of our last school board meetings, I rattled on a speech, you know, how important I think it is. You know, a lot of folks don't know exactly what Black History Month means.
Correct.
Black History Month was adopted to teach about a race who had no history, rather, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And that's what Black History Month was about. It was to teach about a history that was non-existent. We had no history. You know, the history that we knew of, we didn't know anymore. And so it was adopted because we had to teach about people, you know, of course, you hear about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, you know, but, you know, you got a lot of folks, you know, that did a lot in our history. Indeed. And it was just to teach. So I've heard, you know, as of recent, you know, some flashback on, you know, why just Black History Month? Well, guess what? We're just that important enough to talk about it, to speak about it, and give ourselves some history. And so when I was invited by you guys, which I'm so humbled to be able to come on here as a platform and say my speech, you know, for Black History Month. I don't know if you guys remember, I told you, if it ain't in February, I don't want to do it now. but it was just an honor. It was that honor for the month of February. I take so much honor in being able to come on your platform and talk about myself, you know. So it's very relevant to me.
Well, like I said at the beginning, we thank you because I pose this question a lot because, like you said, a lot of people know about Martin Luther King and stuff like that, but when you ask kids nowadays, who's Marcus Garvey, Nat Turner, you know what I'm saying, Harriet Tubman. A lot of kids don't know, and it's like, in light of what's going on, like I said, in the past administration, it pretty much gave silent bigotry a platform themselves to say, hey, I am racist. And we had to endure a whole lot in these past 4 years. And it's like celebrating Black History Month, like you said, the whole concept is to teach other races about the history, the background of whatever that particular ethnic group is, whether it's Mexican History Month or whatever.
Exactly. Exactly.
But this one group of ethnic folks, which is African Americans, we still have it hard. And in 2021, I feel like that's such a valid question. Like, is it relevant? Because if it is, why are we still going through the stuff that we're going through? Why a man like yourself just get elected after all this time in one particular city? So that's
Yeah.
why I asked that question. I hope I didn't put you on the spot or make you feel uncomfortable.
No. And with saying that, and with saying that, guess what? I open up that platform. I open up that door. I want to see who's going to run next term.
Yeah.
I want to see how many folks are going to get out there and run next term. Because guess what? Now that me and Latanya has opened that door, you never know. You
Man,
just never know.
wide open.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me just say this. You got on the bus and the seat was there for you. Latanya, she got on the bus and the seat was there for both of you. That says culturally, keep in mind, like you indicated earlier, 90% predominantly white here in Dearborn Heights.
Wow.
Accepted and embraced both of you.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You both had the integrity, the courage to run, to take that chance. No one would have done to your pride, as you say, but you still did it. Okay? So did Latanya. So it says something. It says something about both of you. At the same time, it says a lot about the culture here in Dearborn Heights has systemically changed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, you would have never even seen that. You maybe would have got one or two votes. That would have been mine. That would have been Latanya's. That would have been yours. A couple other. You know what I'm saying? So
let me tell you,
embrace it.
One of the things me and Latanya said, well, hell, one of us got to get on.
Somebody got to do it.
Right.
But both of you did.
But for both of us, that was lovely. Let me tell you, oh my goodness. And I have to admit, there's another young lady that, there's a lot of folks, my aunts, my dad, my mom, my cousins. Let me tell you, I got to thank so many people, but there's one young lady, Leslie Windless. You know Leslie, Charles?
Uh-huh.
She's on the support staff of Henry Ford. She's actually the new board president. That's another first Black. You guys got to get in contact with Leslie Windless, okay?
Okay.
You guys got to get in contact with her. That's a fabulous woman. Let me tell you.
Okay.
She was out there with us, and she pushed us. I have to always, thank her. She worked hard. I mean, she was on break. Her lunch break. She came out to the polls. Okay.
Right there.
That was just something. She said, "I'm on lunch break, but I'm out here." And let me tell you, she was at one of the food distribution we did today in Dearborn Heights. This woman works tirelessly. I always make fun of her husband. I'm like, I don't know how you do with that chick, man. She works really hard, and she works hard for our community and other communities. But listen, I want to make sure that like I said, I wanted other kids like me to see me making decisions for them, but that also opens that door. And I wasn't raised. I went to Persian High School. All right, on the east side of Detroit.
Doughboys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And one thing, even my son said, I said, well, son, I'm not the only person that can do this. He said, but Daddy, you are the only person who did it. You say?
I got two questions. I got two questions for you, Nate. My last two questions. So some people really don't know about politics or anything like that. Can you just enlighten everybody about your position? What do you do? Like, what does it mean? And how important is it?
Okay.
That's the first question.
So all right. I was elected as a board trustee. We make policies and procedures for our school district. So we govern over the superintendent. She runs the administration and she runs the school, but we govern over her. And what it does is it just gives us power to veto or make decisions, the hard decisions. This has been a rough year for all school boards, not just our school board. We make the decision whether the kids are going back to school or not. It's pretty tough. Yeah. I tell you, my son is home. He's still at home, so he does the online classes. But there's some parents that want to send their kids to school. We weren't comfortable with everything I went through this year or last year. We weren't comfortable. So we had to make the decision to give our parents a choice to have their kids in school or have them homeschooled online. Those are the type of decisions we make. We make the decisions of, policies, procedures, and now I'm in the role of trustee. So don't get me wrong, our great superintendent, she's a trustee. She's the administrator over the school board, but I'm there to look over, what they're doing and what they're spending, and also help with budgets. I'm also on the technology committee, where I help with technology and help do budgets and accept bids. That's another thing we do is accept bids and things like that. And I'm on another committee. It's not popping in my head right now, but I'm on a couple different committees on the board.
Just a busy man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you. My second question is, you mentioned some things about volunteering. What can the community do, millennials, younger people, or anybody? What can we do to get out in our community to give back?
Let me tell you. So right now in Dearborn Heights, we use a lot of social media. That's the ticket thing. We announce food drives, mass drives. This summer, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of cleaning up drives, cutting. You always see it. When the big snow hits, you see something on Facebook. Anyone shoveling snow. Social media, that platform is great for young people to go out and find different things to do, because this generation is different. We did a lot of it in my generation, but this generation is new. Volunteering. Let me tell you, my daughters, the older ones, we didn't make them get out there and do a lot of volunteering, but that boy of mine, he's out there. He goes with daddy. But other than being with daddy, social media is the single most important way that you can find some different opportunities to do some volunteering. Like I said, we have food drives, mass drives in Dearborn Heights. It's almost every other weekend something's going on. But also in the city of Detroit, there's so much. You have the Focus Hope. You have so much. Get in contact with your local mayor, state rep, city council member. There's always something that you can find to do. Someone's doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that.
Your newly elected treasurer, Lisa, was she out there today?
Oh, she was not out there today.
Okay.
How dare you put her out there like that, Charles?
Right.
No. The reason why I want to mention that, because Lisa's always posting on social media. Okay. Very true integrity. And she's always out there in the community helping out.
She is. I've been out, and I've done many events with her. We got an event next week with her also. She was not there today, but she did use the platform to push folks out.
Right.
I actually got 30 boxes of food in my truck, my van right now. But we did have our mayor out, Bill Bozzi, our new mayor. We had Bob Constance out. We had Leslie, of course, out. We had the mayor's wife out. We had, because it was at the Eaton Center, we had the administrator of the Eaton Center out. We had quite a few people out, but yeah, Lisa didn't make this one.
But Norma, hey, Lisa's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yes, she is. That's why you put me out there. I'm like, oh, she wasn't there, but
well, I wasn't out there either, so I'm just trying to know, that was it. And also same time throwing her something, okay, because she's good.
Oh yeah, I've seen her in many events. She makes more than me. Okay, I'll tell you that.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nate. Again, I just want to thank you as we get ready to wrap this on up. We truly appreciate you coming on the show, and
thank you.
Wrap it up completely or whatever. You do realize, right? You made history as an African American male. You do realize this, right?
I honestly, I do. I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm learning.
Because
He's still in shock. He's still in shock.
I mean, you know, hey, I'm just letting you know. Listen. When your wife stop, let you do whatever you want. What you tell her, you know, I made history, right?
Right. Exactly.
That's what you
Exactly.
tell her.
Exactly.
When,
You know,
when she stop fussing at you, you know, I made history, right?
I made his exactly. Let me tell you.
That's not going to get him out of doing the dishes. He still has to do the dishes. Okay, leave him alone.
I gotta do the dishes. I gotta cut the grass, take the trash out. Man.
Wow. You would have pushed the lawnmower. I made history though.
Listen, I got big target. Just to end on that, all right?
Yeah.
I bought this shit at me by this huge snowblower, okay? Huge, okay? Look, the first day I did the whole block.
Oh my God.
20 minutes, the whole block, all right? So yeah, I'm still buying stuff right now.
Well, you know, I'm gonna tell you, I am glad to have had this interview with you. I'm glad that you're doing better, that you can get your strength back with this COVID. I'm glad that you shared your position on the shot, as well as letting those who didn't know about some of the history that's going on at Dearborn Heights, and to Dearborn Heights, the residents, everyone in political seats and decision makers, all you guys, I want to say thank you. Thank you guys for doing what you do to help the citizens in your city. Thank people like Latanya Gator, Mr. Nathaniel over here, people like C. Wright out there helping to poll for these people and everything like that. I want to thank you guys.
No, they're doing it.
You guys actually helped to make history.
It doesn't matter. The thing is what they're doing. It's what they're doing.
Yeah, I understand it's what they're doing, but understand this too. You guys and people like yourself also help make history and stuff too. And so I applaud every one of you guys that played a significant role. Even that 5-year-old nephew of yours, you don't realize it, but he helped too. Okay.
Exactly.
So
let me thank you guys again.
You on again too.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, and honestly, I'm glad you guys can give me some of those tough questions you gave Latanya.
No.
Well, you know what?
Well,
since he did that, in all fairness, in closing, this is your opportunity to say something directly to the Dearborn Heights community. Say something in closing.
Yes, we'll let you in the show.
I can handle that. I think I can handle that. Get myself together. All right, no. Let me tell you this. We've been in this community for 16 years. Me and my wife and I. We had a home built here in 2005, and you know we've been welcome ever since we've been there. You know we've never had a situation where we felt uncomfortable, and I love the community. You know I speak on that community. We're on the south side, so you know the mayor likes me to say Dearborn Heights and whole. We're on the south side, baby. You know I take pride. I opened my first business in Dearborn Heights. My kids got a wonderful education in these 7 schools. Our superintendent, Miss Jennifer Mass, she was my children's math teacher, principal, and now superintendent. You know, I can say to that community, I love that community. You know, that we've been in that community for a long time. You know, for like I said, a young man from Persian High School to now sit on the board of Dearborn Heights District 7. It tells it all right there. It just impresses me, you know. And I say that because Persian High School, no boys, you know, we're known for athletics, you know. But just imagine a young man who had no clue he would ever run for a seat on the school board in Dearborn Heights won.
Yep.
I celebrate this community, you know.
Yes.
Awesome.
There you go. That right there seals it. Everyone.
Yes.
This is Mr. Nathaniel right here. Okay. He will be back on the show in the future, I hope. Please do. And I just want to thank everyone that watched the show. For those of you who haven't yet, please subscribe to the show, Umbrella Entertainment US on YouTube, and join us on our next show. But again, thank you guys. I want to thank the TMW crew, Mr. Cedar Wright, the ever lovely TK. Okay, so thank you, and we'll see you. God bless you all. Hello, everyone. This is your boy, Uncle Will, from That's My Word podcast, and I am here on behalf of both of my co-hosts, Latrell Tate and See the Right. You know, our objective is to be Metro Detroit's #1 urban podcast. Now, in order to do this, we need your support. So, go to YouTube, type in Umbrella Entertainment US if you haven't done so already. Subscribe today and enjoy. That's my word.